What's going on, my PT peeps and my Walking Dead family? Welcome to the PT channel. I'm One Eye Bry, also known as PT, back to talk about the Walking Dead comics, and we're going to talk about issue 192 that came out today. It kind of leaked a couple days early, so obviously spoiler warning for the Walking Dead comics, issue 192, all that stuff. Spoiler warning for sure. But wow, can you believe they did that to Rick Grimes? Rick Grimes is gone. People thought he may live, people thought he may survive, but nope. He's out in issue 192. That's his last issue. And Robert Kirkman said over Twitter, heads up, Walking Dead 192 is oversized at 30 pages of story, so it's a big issue, and not just because of the page content. It's a pretty big issue. Is it the biggest issue to date? I would say so. I mean, issue 100 was pretty big, and I thought they would do something around issue 200, and it's issue 192. Well, 191 into 192. I don't have any pictures of the actual comic because they'll just block it and copyright it, but it's been leaking all over the place. People got it on Facebook, Instagram, and really the big thing is that Rick was not just shot by Sebastian once, it was several times. So that punk better get what's coming to him by Carl, hopefully, right? But Rick is the face of The Walking Dead, and now he's gone. And that's crazy to think that really the main character of the Walking Dead comic story is gone. We always thought that Carl would be the one to take over the story, and that's starting here in issue 192 in a big way. But Rick will definitely not be forgotten, that's for sure. And to be honest, it's not the Rick Grimes story, even though a lot of people think it is. It's the Walking Dead story. So there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of characters, a lot of storyline, and we'll see what happens. Did Kirkman make a mistake by killing Rick off in issue 192? We'll see. I mean, I'm a little disappointed that he's gone, but if it builds for the future and we'll see things happening with Carl, but I wonder if people are like, yep, I'm done with the comic now, because I could see that happening. But either way, Rick Grimes is going to live on through Carl and Michonne and all the survivors. But the show is the show and the comic is the comic, so I wonder if this is actually going to happen on the show with another character or the movies with Rick Grimes. We'll see what happens over time, but it's just going to be weird that Rick is no longer in the comics. It's just one of those things where like, wow, and there's no coming back. There's no way to bring Rick back in this world, right? But as for how he went out, it was pretty weak in my opinion. I mean, Kirkman is kind of the anti-heroic moment kind of thing with Rick, and Rick being the everyman small town cop, but to be taken out by this punk right here while Rick was sleeping in his bed is kind of frustrating. It's kind of like, man, that's how Rick went out? And then Pamela Milton just kind of is taking back the Commonwealth. So what happened with all this storyline they were building up, and then Rick and Dwight and this, and it's like, what the heck, man? It's kind of weak, but I'm gonna read the issues, and I thought the Commonwealth storyline was pretty good until now, because really, that punk kid took out our main guy, Rick Grimes, and we're losing so many characters in the comics. I mean, Michonne's the only main character in this picture here that is still alive. We lost Rick now. Andrea's been gone for some time, and Abraham went a long time ago, so we're like, man, we're losing characters left and right, but we still have Carl, and we'll see where the future goes. Carl's clearly the future of the comic, and we always thought that. We thought it'd be the Rick Grimes story for a while, and then Carl will lead. And now we have that. So we're gonna have issue 192, and on is the Carl Grimes story. Well, we'll see what happens with Michonne and Eugene and Stephanie and really whoever's left if you're still reading the comic. There are a lot of characters left, like Aaron and Jesus, but we'll see what happens with Carl being a leader. Hilltop, Alexandria, and maybe the Commonwealth sticks around at some point, but I see Carl getting revenge for Rick, right? I mean, there's no way that I would let that punk rot in a jail cell and be like, I'm okay with it. It was kind of like, really? That's how we're gonna end? Hopefully Carl goes back at some point, or there's some interaction with Sebastian and Carl gets revenge, because I'm not saying it's a good thing that Carl should do that, but I would feel very unsatisfied if it doesn't happen. And the whole Commonwealth thing has to stick around for Mercer and Michonne and Pamela Milton and Sebastian and Carl and everything going forward, I would think, right? But what do you think about it? What happens next is a great question that's asked by Skybound in the Walking Dead comics, because what happens after this? As I mean, they're gonna make more comics. I mean, there's no way that's like, yep, that's our last issue, guys, we're wrapping it up, because they want it to be the zombie story that never ends. It just keeps going and going and going, and another problem and another problem and another problem. But we'll see. What else can they do? Where else can they be? Can they travel the world now? Can they travel the rest of the United States? They're still around the East Coast, Ohio, Virginia type area. But next issue, next month, is going to feature Negan. It should be a good issue, hopefully. We'll see what happens with Mr. Negan. He hasn't been seen in a while. But is Negan going to have a bigger storyline? He did help out during the Whisperer War, and it's crazy to think that Negan outlived Rick, which, you know, they're not really connected that way because Negan didn't come around to issue 100, so we'll see what happens with the future for Negan. And what's up with this? This is Sheriff Kapoor per Skybound, and I don't know what that means. Is it Mercer with a new haircut? Is it somebody else? Is it really someone to take the place of Rick Grimes? Because we know it's not Rick Grimes because he's gone. Carl had to put him down. It was very sad. So Carl had to be the person to put Rick down, and it kind of had to be that way, right? Because they're setting up Carl's story arc going forward, being the leader, and he had to kill the past, and that's Rick. But we'll see what happens going forward, guys. Wow, issue 192. If you haven't read it, go check it out. It's out today, June 5th. I know there's digital copies going around all over the place, and people leaked it early. I mean, there was already something on Instagram on Monday about showing Walker Rick, and it was like a big thing. And then people were posting stuff what happened already, and it didn't even come out yet. But it was spoiled for a lot of people, so hopefully you checked it out. Let me know your thoughts, post your comments below, guys, and please hit that subscribe button to become a valued member of our PT channel, Walking Dead family. And remember, with hard work, dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals. Believe in yourself. You can do it. It's about love, support, staying positive, making memories. As always, tell them, Daryl.
Yo, we love you guys. Honestly, thank you.